That's right.
Okay, Abraham Lincoln, they were all puppets. All your presidents were puppets, man. Okay, that's why they're called presidents. Okay, the president is not some official ruler of a country. He is a puppet that has been set up to control the country through a higher through a higher monarch. Okay,
even when in the scriptures, when Daniel was the president, he was set up by a higher ruler.
Yeah, it's beautiful, man. That's a perfect example.
When they don't do what they want, in the case of JFK, we know what happens, you know? They will have 30 days to submit to the Oval Office a plan for soundly and quickly defeating ISIS. We have no choice. From his webpage, Foreign Policy in Defeating ISIS, pursue aggressive joint coalition military operations to crush and destroy ISIS, international cooperation to cut off their funding, expand intelligence sharing, and cyber warfare to disrupt and disable their propaganda and recruiting. Another bullet point, defeat the ideology of radical Islam terrorism, just as we won the Cold War. I assume this means severing ties with Saudi Arabia and the other Gulf Emirates responsible for supporting Salafist terrorism, who blew up the World Trade Center. That's stupid.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
just gonna skip that.
Look, Trump is he's severing his ties with his allies, man. Wasn't he talking about severing ties with NATO? Now Saudi Arabia, man. So hey, man, there's a scripture somewhere. I don't know where it's at, but it says that thou has hurted thyself by cutting off many people, something like that. I know it's in the scripture somewhere. That thou hast brought wounds to thyself by cutting off many people. I'm just roughly paraphrasing, but yeah, continue on in that.
Trump sounds like a Democrat on Afghanistan. We made a mistake going into Iraq. I've never said we made a mistake going into Afghanistan.
Hey, and wait a minute. I read an article, I believe it was 2 days ago. Trump was talking about, he was still talking about going into Iran. Okay? Iran. So hey, guess what, man? Even if Trump and Putin are close friends, guess what, man? If those gutter rats in the land of Israel attacks Iran and forces the U.S. to get involved, and guess what? Russia is still going to attack the U.S. because that's going to be the drawing point regardless.
That's right.
And Trump was talking about going into Iran, okay, calling them terrorists and blah, blah, blah. So, hey, man, this whole thing is coming to a hedge.
That's right.
Because war is not going to start directly with the U.S. and Russia going to war with each other. No, World War III is going to start with the U.S. going into Iran, and that's going to be the breaking point for Russia. That's when Russia is going to start attacking the U.S. Go ahead, bro.
He said, and at this point, that's right. Oh wait, he said, we made a mistake going into Iraq. I never said we made a mistake going into Afghanistan. He said, and at this point, you probably have to stay because that thing will collapse about 2 seconds after they leave. He believes Obama should have gone into Syria. Had he crossed the line and really gone in with force, done something to Assad, if he had gone in with tremendous force, you wouldn't have millions of people displaced all over the world. Trump is on the neocon bandwagon in regard to Iran. We have people in Washington that don't know what they're doing. Now with Iran, we're making a deal. You would say, we want out our prisoners, we want all these things, and we don't get anything. We're giving them $150 billion plus. I'll tell you what, if Iran was a stock, you folks should go out and buy it right now. There's no point in reading this whole article.
Yeah, but I got a script, because you know, with all this tension going on, and you know, you want to start going in these other countries and all that, that's going to raise up more tension with these other countries, and that's going to lead to World War III because, you know, like we would just get into, Donald Trump going to lead into the race wars, and he going to lead us into World War III, and the RFID chip is going to be in the midst of all of that. You know, but this is Revelations chapter 9, verse 15. And the 4 angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day, and a month, and a year, for to slay the third part of men. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. And I heard the number of them. And you know, the 200,000, you know, that's the 200 million missiles that's going to destroy America, destroy Babylon by nuclear fire, which is going to cause that lake of fire. Because World War III is being stirred up, and Donald Trump may be the one to bring us into it. You know, because, you know, anything could happen. He could get assassinated or fake assassinated before he gets sworn into office, which may lead to Obama staying in. Or, you know, some devilish bullshit could happen, because, you know, these crackers is something else, man.
Or even if he does, even after Donald Trump gets elected into office, they could still fake his assassination at any moment. You know? Because John F. Kennedy was elected president when he got assassinated, so was Abraham Lincoln. But, you know, no, it's nothing to the so-called elites to fake somebody assassination before they get into office. So only time will tell, to be honest. Whatever.
And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them having breastplates of fire, and of jacinth and brimstone, and the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone.
Now these are talking about the nuclear missiles. Now they said that the head of these nuclear missiles are as the faces of lions. You know, when somebody sees a lion, the first thing that happens is what? Great fear falls upon them, man, because a lion is a representation of what? Power, man. You know, power. So when somebody see a nuclear missile up in the sky, you know, their heart is gonna fail, man. They're gonna be terrified, knowing what kind of power is behind them nuclear missiles. And like we was going into last week, Russia has a nuclear missile called Satan II, which can wipe out a state the size of France, man, or Texas, which would be three of these smaller states here in America, man. One Satan II can destroy 3 small states here in America, man. Okay, so that means that Satan II can take out New York, Ohio, and Pennsylvania in one swoop, and even other parts of these other states. That's right. So Russia ain't playing, man.
By these 3 was the third part of men killed, by the fire, and by the smoke, and by the brimstone, which issued out of their mouths. For their power is in their mouth and in their tails.
Yeah, it said the power is in their mouth, because an intercontinental ballistic missile, when you look at it, right, when it goes up to the ozone layer of the earth, where there's a zero gravity, the tip of the warhead comes off, all right? That's why it's called the mouth, because out of that capsule comes out many other thousands of nuclear warheads, which then falls down to the earth, and then explodes at zero gravity. Okay?
For their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads, and with them they do hurt. And the rest of men which were not killed by these plagues yet repented not of their works of their hands, that they should not worship devils and idols of gold and silver.
Yeah, because these oh, you was gonna say something, bro?
No, I was about to say, you know, that we got the point already.
Yeah, because these are so-called elites. They have idols of gold and silver. Okay, like you got these people up here on Earth. They worship idols of wood and brass, but the so-called elites, they got all the money, man. Okay, so that they have idols of gold and silver, and and they worship these different so-called deities. Okay, they worship Molech. They worship the Queen of Heaven.
The planets.
They worship different planets. Okay, so basically, after the nuclear destruction took place, they were still worshiping these false gods. Okay, which means what? These devils are going to be proud to the very end until they're put in chains and shackles, man.
Yeah, but here goes another script, you know, after the missiles. This is Revelation chapter 18, verse 16. And saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen, and purple, and scarlet, and decked with gold, and precious stones and pearls, for in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught,
Yeah, in 1 hour, man. The Lord's going to eradicate and irradiate this place in 1 hour, man.
That's right.
Okay, the Lord's going to melt this place with nuclear fire in 1 hour. Okay, and all the precious things that America has gotten by rape, rob, and murder from these other planets, from these other countries, and from these other nations, and from our people, they're going to be wiped out here in America. And the ones that you so-called elites got in these deep underground cities underneath the earth, we're going to take those from you.
That's right.
Lord's will, we be of the elect. Go ahead, bro.
That's right.
And every shipmaster and all the company and ships and sailors and as many as trade by sea stood afar off and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, "What city is like unto this great city?"
Yeah. Basically, they started whining because America was their main source of profit. Okay, they knew that if they come over here to America, they could make a lot of money and go back to their country and it'd be worth twice as much.
In fact, there's more in there. There's more.
I know.
Wait.
You know, so when they